follows an extract from my book Letters from the Broom Cupboard, available from Amazon. Dear reader, when I refer to my period of residency in the broom cupboard, I'm not necessarily always referring to the same one. I've had periods of occupation in various cupboards of a generic type over the years. My current place of address is one of the nicest now that spring is on the horizon and I've finally figured out how to turn the radiator off. It's relatively spacious and it's clean and tidy. The one enduring feature of all those habitats is that they are safe. I don't mean that I'm securely hidden from an imaginary source of malice. I mean quite literally what I say. They are physically safe. How can teaching the piano ever allow me to be in physical danger, I hear you ask, dear reader. I will tell you, and it's no laughing matter. Some years ago I was working with a local primary school and was asked to help out at their Harvest Festival service held in the nearby church. If I could just play a couple of hymns and accompany the children in a little song, it would be greatly appreciated. Where was the harm in that? I knew the hymns well enough, and I'd played Cauliflower's Fluffy, Cabbage's Green plenty of times with my own children. Even now I can hear the bass line in my head. Ba-ba-ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, be-doo-ah. Catchy. The day of the service arrived with no sense of impending doom. I arrived early to see what instrument I'd be playing and to give me time to be calmly organised. I need to mention here that the pianists have significant commitment issues. They are quite incapable of remaining faithful to the same instrument. String players, brass players and woodwind players can take their own instrument with them to their lessons, exams and performances. Sadly not so with the pianist. There's no knowing what we'll pair up with from one day to the next. It's a sad fact of life and it's something that you learn to expect. Actually, there are slight deviations in the brass sector where they sometimes can't be bothered to lump their own instrument around, and if there's a chance of a loan they just take their own mouthpiece for the sake of hygiene. Mix-ups happen too, of course. When my daughter was taking her grade 5 flute, I assured her that I'd got it all sorted and bid her jump into the car. When we arrived at the exam centre, I found, to my horror, that I'd not picked up her flute but had got mine instead. It's difficult to explain how playing a different instrument is so tricky. You blow in the same place and the keys are in the same place, but it feels totally alien. The tone and response is so very different from instrument to instrument. She did very well under the circumstances, but I think I cost her a distinction that day. Upon entering the church, ready for the school harvest service, a frail old lady welcomed me and offered to escort me to the organ. OK, so there wasn't a piano. I guessed that I could manage, although Cauliflower's Fluffy would sound a trifle bizarre with reed and diapason stops. I also worried a little that being sat away from the children could create timing issues. If the organ pipes are high up, there can be a significant time delay in the sound reaching the congregation in the lower levels. It sounds like an extract from Dante's Inferno. The old dear led me to a narrow, winding stone staircase. I became genuinely concerned for her safety, not my own as yet, as she began to climb the steps. For some portion of the climb there was a sheer drop to the left of the staircase until the wall of the upper balcony took the place of a banister. I wondered if I should offer to help her, but she steadily wound on in rotating steps until we reached the balcony where the organ was situated. I don't mind admitting that I'm not comfortable with heights, but I saw no concern for real alarm. As we came into the open space, I scanned the area and found the organ backing onto the edge of the balcony. I sat at the stool and tried to gather my wits. Inches behind me was a sheer drop. There was no safety rail, only a low wall about thigh high. Once I was seated on the tall stool, there was nothing between me and a free skydiving experience. By this point, I was definitely out of my comfort zone, but I can't say that I was positively afraid. Yet. The stalwart warden began to descend to the lower regions, but I didn't worry about her now. She would have to fend for herself. I was far too preoccupied with my own troubles. I'd turned the organ on and my doom was set. It was unlikely that I'd live to tell the tale. As the machine powered up, it began to shake violently. The pipe mechanism vibrated alarmingly as ancient systems attempted to summon up air to filter through the various pipes. The stool that my unfortunate behind was destined to be sat upon was an integral part of the pedal board. The wooden legs were securely attached to the framework of the lower pedal system, and it shook in perfect union with the rest of the device. The only thing keeping the music on the stand were two metal pins designed for the purpose, and the only thing keeping me seated at the organ was a paralytic inability to move. I have very little memory of how the music was received. I think that I have repressed the memory as it's too traumatic to remain in my conscious thought. Bar by bar the hymns passed by. Any timing issues with the choir were probably excused on the basis of the immaturity of the singers. No doubt it added to the appeal. The worst times were the periods of inactivity, when all I could do was concentrate on the main task in hand, holding on for dear life. At the end of the service, I was again met by the ancient church warden. She seemed pleased with the morning's work, and all had gone swimmingly as far as she was concerned. I tentatively made reference to the fact that I wasn't comfortable with heights, and she seemed to perceive my shattered nerves. And so it was that the old dear packed away my music, took my arm and helped me down the stairs, very carefully and slowly. Gratefully yours. For the full collection of letters from the Broom Cupboard, available from Amazon in paperback or as an ebook, follow the links in the cards in the description box or find details on my website at sharonbill.com. Thanks for listening.